This is a video of what a complete history of video for a hero will seem like when I do them in the future on my second channel, TheRealSuperSam. I decided that when I do them, it will just be their main universes. So, no cartoons or video games or alternate universes. It will just be like from Marvel or 616 and DC, the Hero Age to Rebirth. This is just a very short example of what one will be like, what moments in the structure will seem like. My very first one, I think, will be on the Marvel hero team, the Defenders, instead of the Fantastic Four. I said originally I would do the Fantastic Four first, but I think the Defenders would be a little bit better. So normally I would give a short 5-minute introduction on the character's history and what we're in for, then to the main content. And it's not hard to guess that Flash Thompson first appeared in Amazing Fantasy issue 15, August 1962, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. He's only in 4 panels in the story, but it's obvious that he's the bully that Peter Parker and one of the big men on campus is. Flash's next appearance was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, May 1963, again written by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and keep in mind, these two created the first 38 issues of The Amazing Spider-Man. In the 8th story with the Vulture, Flash teases Peter with the Now magazine, telling him basically to get some culture in his life, that nerd. In the B story with the Tinkerer, Flash laughs at Parker for volunteering to help out a scientist over the weekend instead of doing, anything else. And as you can see here, Peter actually taunts back at Flash. He was then The Amazing Spider-Man issue 3, releasing July 1963. Flash is actually only in one panel here, and says one speech bubble, again a sly insult to Peter Parker at school. With a cover date of September 1963, Flash was in The Amazing Spider-Man issue 4, the first appearance of the Sandman. When the Sandman attacks Peter's school, Flash Thompson is there cheering Spider-Man on and remarks that Peter's hiding under a desk during the action. And so the video would go on with the hero's appearance, which I know calling Flash Thompson a hero now would be kind of strange, but he was until The Amazing Spider-Man issue 78, Flash Thompson's last appearance in the 1960s. It came out in November of 1969, and it was made by Stan Lee and John Buscema. Peter decides to go see Gwen in the Coffee Pot Cafe and spots her with Flash Thompson, unaware that she's seeking advice about Peter and his secret. Peter assumes that the two of them have become an item and storms off. Flash Thompson is there because he's known Pete the longest, really. And that was everything about anything of Flash Thompson in the 1960s, is what I would say in the main video, because I would just make these videos in the 60s, end of the video, 70s, end of the video, 80s, end of the video, you get it, and then make a big compilation when I'm caught up. I would then start off the next video by very, very quickly going into his history in the 70s, since in the compilation video, taking pauses in between appearances that are gigantic, like gigantic pauses in between issue 70 and 80 just because it's a new decade, that'd be kind of weird in a compilation video, so I'm not going to do that. So yeah, next here's an Amazing Spider-Man issue 80, made by the same people who made issue 78. Flash comes to Peter and Harry's Osborn's apartment, and Peter confronts Flash Thompson of what he saw in issue 78, him and Gwen talking with each other in a cafe. Flash explains that Gwen was asking him what was up with Peter and his secrets, and she was just seeking advice. Another example that I would talk about is storylines, like Flash being in the story titled Vengeance from Vietnam, Part 1 and 2, which was in The Amazing Spider-Man issues 108 and 109, May and June 1972. I'm getting tongue-tied here. I would not break these up into two, panels for each story. I would just combine them into one thing. It'll have the story go by faster and smoother. Anyway, in the story, this group named the Monks of Light grab Flash Thompson. Spider-Man has to save Flash. Then Flash tells him his story. While fighting in the war, Flash was injured and was patched up by peaceful monks and fell in love with the eldest one's daughter, Shoshan. Returning to his military unit, he planned to bomb the sector where the temple and those people were located. Flash tried to warn them, but they said that they could not leave, like they weren't being convinced to leave by Flash. So their temple was destroyed, and apparently they died. Flash would ultimately be blamed for the bombing, and that's why those people were attacking him. Finishing his story, Flash explains that's why he's under military protection. Other stuff happens, and later, the biggest turning point, I think, between Peter Parker and Flash Thompson came in The Amazing Spider-Man issue 138, which was the forgotten rogue Mindworm's first appearance, written by Gary Conway and penciled by Ross Andrew. Something unimaginable back in the 60s happened. Flash Thompson lets Peter Parker move in with him in his apartment. And yeah, I will definitely mention appearances not in the hero's main stories, like here in Marvel graphic novel 46. It was Flash Thompson's first appearance outside of a Spider-Man title, like Amazing or Spectacular Spider-Man, by Gary Conway and Alex Savuk. This is a flashback to the Master Planner story arc from Amazing Spider-Man issues 31 through 33, where Flash appears. Blah blah blah. Let's get on to his last appearance in the 2010s, which would be the end of that video, at least in this current decade of the tens. Anyway, it was Flash Thompson's death in July 2018 in Amazing Spider-Man 800, written and drawn by Dan Slott and Nick Bradshaw. November 2018, or July 2018. I already said the date. Flash Thompson used almost all of the anti-venom symbiote to extract the Red Goblin's spikes that the villain put in people to kill them. Then Flash attacks Red Goblin, but he loses, gets beat up really bad by the villain, and dies in the hospital. But for this video, just for fun, I'll go on a little longer to another appearance in Extreme Carnage Omega, releasing November 2021. I know there was 2 other issues, but this is a trial video, for example. It was written by Steve Orlando and pencilers by Gernardo Sandoval and Danilo Beirut. Just wanted to say, he's here in the storyline, and it's Agent Anti-Venom again. I love the Carnage storylines, story events, Maximum, Absolute, and Extreme. Anyway, his last appearance today is in Savage Avengers Volume 2, Issue 3. It released July 13th, 2022, but has the cover date of September 2022. It was made by David Pepose and Carlos Mango. And here, he goes toe-to-toe with Deathlock. That is a rough outline of what a complete history of video will be made up of. That is all.